Okay, folks, happy Friday. We're a little better on energy today than we were the other night, which isn't saying a whole lot considering I was pretty damn low on energy. But only cough I got right now is I got gunk in my lungs that got to get that out. But I feel better than I sound. I can hear myself going like, man, sounds like I've been screaming at people. And yeah, that wasn't the case today, but we got lots of liquids to drink, lots of stuff to talk about, lots of stuff to do, and prepping for the weekend so we can knock out some of these. We start doing a deep dive into these Brits. I want to see what these guys look like with these decals. So, anyhow, happy Friday. And I went straight from work. I went to Pussyfoot's Paradise, as I like to call the place. It actually starts with a P. And they have a good selection of stuff if they have it in stock. I've been looking for Strong Tone because I'm completely out. And I went ahead and picked up 1, 2, 3, 4, and Dark Tone, which is their equivalent of Null Oil. So we're going to see what that looks like. Hey, Marco. Hello from flu-ridden Florida. Still haven't gotten COVID, just for the record. Still haven't gotten COVID. This is just a regular flu. Wasn't that big of a deal, honestly, other than, what was the biggest problem of the whole thing? I didn't have a headache a single time. Thank you, Jesus, because I hate that. Low energy. The best part is no appetite. That is great. I lost like 6 pounds in 3 days. Although tomorrow I'll probably catch back up again. The worst part was the coughing. You cough so much the first day, and then the second day your chest is so sore from it. Anytime you cough, you do get a pounding headache for a split second, and then it goes away. That doesn't really count headache-wise. But anyhow, so we've got... we went and picked up this Strong Tones. I'm tired of going to places and they're out of it. I want to mail order it. It's expensive. Army Painter also makes a Strong Tone dip. So I figured, okay, well, I'll get a big can. It's not the same material. I never bought it. I looked into it before. This is, the other one is a lacquer-based thing. Almost done with your early Byzantines, all options, including 6 of the 6 calves. So you're building one of those Mauritian Byzantine armies? Yeah, I love the Byzantines. I don't, I wouldn't want to be part of their, I don't have anything against Greek stuff. But I do have a problem against turncoat shit, regardless of who it is. That's not cool. That's not cool to be an Alcibiades. Even if your grandfather is named after him. Hopefully he's named after a decent Alcibiades. I'm sure there probably was one. It wasn't the guy we knew. I know that when you play, what was the name of that game? Assassin's Creed Odyssey, you come across Alcibiades, and he's like a pansexual type guy. And a wishy-washy guy. I'm like, I'm not helping this guy at all. He can go fly a kite up his ass. Nope, you already have Mauritian Byzantines. This is Belisarius. That guy got bent. He's a better man than me. I believe in revenge. I am a firm believer. But, it might have turned into, like, Belisarius might have turned into He might have turned like from a good guy into somebody who gotten corrupted and turned into really evil because some people can't handle it. And most people aren't like Sulla, where they're like, all right, I fucking paid everybody back. Let me go back and retire in my villa. They're like, man, I like this. I like this beheading people. Can we go through more people? That's most folks. But Belisarius really got done dirty by everybody. I have a problem when loyalty gets rewarded that way, or gets punished that way. So I'm definitely a Belisarius fan, or at least I'm on his side with that. Oh man, yeah, he put up with the damn prostitute that sold him out. Was friends with that. It was kind of like, what season was it? Was it season 2 on 24, where the president was a good guy? He was surrounded by everybody that was around him was basically trash. You know who I'm talking about. Yeah, you don't fuck somebody loyal to you. Okay, so let's go ahead and put some of these strong tones away. We're only gonna. A normal person would have only bought 2, but I'm not normal. I even thought about getting more than 4. It's not like I'm gonna change my mind and not do it this way. And I'll put dark tone over here. That's just a black one. The black equivalent. I want to see how that works instead of the. But we've got the original Nuln Oil. We got some of the Citadel color Nuln Oil, and then we have the replacement one from the Army Painter equivalent. Usually constructed early and late Swiss with the 8/6 blade. Didn't paint those myself, but look okay. Yeah, I had to face that army in a tournament one time, and I knew exactly what I needed to do, and my dice didn't behave, and they were so fast that I didn't have time for a second chance. I basically my guys were like, they're equipped with what? And then they hesitated, and the next thing about them, they came in just laid waste to everybody. But it was a die roll thing. Like, okay, I knew exactly what I needed to do, and I couldn't do it. It's just part of the game. Sometimes the pip don't do. One of the things that I do like about DBA is that sometimes you can't do the things you want to do. It's just some people can't deal with that. I don't have a problem with it because the other guy, I've won games because the other guy couldn't do something to get out of my way. Tough titty. Sometimes sometimes you're on the menu and sometimes your opponent is. Let's clean some of this stuff up because we've got chaos here. And chaos is my enemy. But we survived this week. I don't know how. This was a rough week. Is there any army you wouldn't build based on who they are? Talk about DBA armies. We can still talk about DBA stuff. I'm just not going to play it. I've done all I could do to promote that game, and people just don't want it to grow. I know there's loyal followings, but it's holding me back from doing this World War II stuff. So I don't have anything bad to say about it. I met some great people playing it. Still friends with them. It's got nothing to do with that. Still love Phil Barker. If I ran into him, I'd give him a big hug. And and whisper in his ear, I'm not going to push your game anymore. I'm not going to fight your battles anymore. Battles of, trying to get other people to understand your rules. Now, I got only kind things to say about that old man. Brought me a lot of joy and made me indirectly learn a lot about history. A lot about, I always knew all this stuff we were talking about. I knew who Belisarius was, but if somebody says, now if somebody says, hey, the Normans, what kind of army did they have? In my mind, I can be like, okay, they're about this many percentage foot soldiers, about this many percentage bowmen, about this percentage knights. I couldn't do that before. You don't want an Ottoman army, okay? Don't like them, huh? It's okay not to like the... I like the Ottomans. You know who I can't... And I would still have one of their armies. I hate the Mongols. The Mongols are my biggest enemy. Of all the people in DBA, well, I don't have Assyrians. I'm not in a book warning. Assyrians are like... You can't even have those guys next to you. Like, if you lived in a neighborhood, and you find out the Assyrians are moving next to you, yeah, you got problems. You need to, you need to poison that anthill before it gets out of control. But the Mongols... No. And the thing, and what I really dislike about the Mongols is that everybody pretty much agrees that Assyrians are dickheads, right? Pretty much everybody's going to say, yeah, those guys are terrible. They made lampshades out of people. You can't reason with them. They're warmongering, that kind of stuff. But the Mongols, half the people are Mongol worshippers. Oh, they promoted trade and everything. Yeah, they also destroyed knowledge, Trade isn't, the almighty Denari is not, is not the ruler of all. It's like, well, we destroyed complete civilizations, and not a fan of the Mongols. That and they look funny. I think Mongol and other archer light horse should be able to shoot at a distance of a base width. Yep. I'm not going to argue there. But I'm just getting to the point where my workload is way too much to be trying to tinker with the rules. And I'd never get to doing World War II stuff. And I'm a World War II guy. I am. I really enjoyed learning about, and I still have all that stuff. I'm not getting rid of my 15s. At some point, I may play 15s again. Hell, I got Impetus. I printed out the rules for Impetus, basic Impetus or whatever. I got an idea how to play that, but I am not going back to 15s for at least 5 years for sure. Keep it up and it'll be 10. I need to do this. This is what I need to do. This is where I belong. Does that extend to Mongol derivative armies that behave similarly or worse? So the Timurids are super interesting. The demon thing or the shooting? I don't know about the demon thing, but extended Mongol derivative armies. They're still the bad guys. The Timurids are the bad guys. But the Timurids could have elephants. That makes them cool. Do I have Timurid figures to do? Yeah, I think so. I'd do them. But that's the difference, is nobody praises the Timurids. But people are like, oh, Genghis Khan was great. And, one of the competing armies, one of the competing games that I was going to play before DBA was a game called Armadi. The guy that ran Armadi went by Subadai. He didn't use his real name. I don't know what the guy's real name is. I bet he's probably some guy from England. But he liked Subadai so much that was his handle, And it'd be like, I like World War II stuff a lot, so I'm going to go by, Joachim Piper. Well, what does that fucking mean? Is, I mean, you like to, you like to burn and pillage things and send people off, and no. Oh, he's a great general. Well, maybe he caught people with their pants down. You know, and he was attacking Russia. A bunch of guys that didn't want to cooperate with each other. You know, that's why it took my ancestors 400 years to kick the Middle Eastern people out of the peninsula, because we were assholes fighting with each other. You know, that's why it's called feudal Spanish. Uh, but I think the Mongols would be good to have if I got the Huns. The Huns aren't the good guys. But the Mongols would be great if I would have continued playing DBA and go, you know what, I'm going to make a derivative set of rules where those light horse can shoot at a base width. Well, we need an army to show that, you know. So, yeah, it's the difference. Do you like playing the Germans in World War II? Yes, but they're not the defenders of Europe, like some people claim on some pages. Got to be a troll. It's got to be a troll. Anyhow, so we're over here in Shermanlandia. I'm gonna see if I've got enough stuff to put the bits and bobs, as you guys would say, to maybe prime some of these guys tomorrow. Let's see what we're dealing with. This is the originals. I don't want to use up these originals if I don't want to, if I don't have to. Yeah, I know some people that won't play Soviet troops. I know some people that won't play German troops. I'll play anybody, but Mongols are assholes. I've played Assyrians before, knowing full well I was the asshole. All right. Let's see. Let's get us one of these. Yep. So Marco doesn't like the Ottomans. He's good reason. He's Greek. Shouldn't like the Ottomans. Makes sense. The question is, do you like the Persians, though? Because Persians really are the traditional enemy of the Greeks. Although the Persians are probably more tolerant than the Ottomans, I would guess. The Persians actually are pretty tolerant. What did them in, pretty tolerant for that time, anyways. What did them in is, if so going to say the emperor? No. The Shah? No. If the Persian king had more than one son, the second son would end up causing problems and have a revolution and weaken the whole empire. So that's kind of what did him in infighting. I only have one child. You love your Persian army. Yeah. I don't have a problem with the Persians, but there's some people out there that claim the Greeks are the bad guys and the Persians are the good guys. Not me. I am a devout Western thinking person. It's rare that I see, I think these guys are more, all these nationalities had bad things that they were doing, but generally I think whoever's got the cooler armor is cooler. That's why I like the Normans better than the guys that are sitting in. Unique Cyrus figure? You think the Greeks are the traditional enemies of the Greeks? No, the same thing works for the Irish, right? That's the difference between my people and the Irish. It took us 700, 800 years to kick out the invaders. The Irish never did. Of course, we left the Portuguese. We're like, do we really want them back? Nah, fuck it. They don't even speak Spanish. Leave them alone. Hey, we're picking on everybody tonight. You guys know it's all in fun. Just about everybody was an asshole in history. Unique Cyrus figure. Yeah, he has a unique army, that's for sure. And I had all the troops to do a later feudal Spanish and and a Grenadine army. Those were going to be some of the next ones. Hey, I may do them. I just do them for another system. It's not like I got rid of my DBA rules. I still like the DBA army list. Use the army list and play impetus with it or something, Something with a little bit more flavor. I don't know. I'm just talking. It's not like I'm getting rid of my figures or anything like that. Or reference material. Some of it was a pain in the ass to get. So I wanted to share with you guys. How many of you guys are on here right now? A few? Well, you guys are some sharp lads on here right now. Jared, probably, of all the people that are on here, probably would be the one that would enjoy this the most. Because you do some World War II game. But I was some World War II stuff. But I was talking about this the other day, and I came across I came across something that's incredible. That's just absolutely incredible. And I really admire the person's dedication to anal retentiveness. Ben, okay, it's complete. Okay, you showed up at the right time, Ben. You check this out, what I'm about to show you. I appreciate this guy's anal retentiveness because this is the kind of shit I would love to do if I had the time to do it. And I would have the time to do it, but then I'm not doing any of this or doing my show. And I sent this to myself. I came across a file, and I don't know if I can get this to come up big enough on my phone. And unfortunately, I can't give you the name of the address because I downloaded it. But this guy, assuming it's a guy, it's a PDF that apparently was done in Excel. That is very, very large. And what this is a chart. Are these the super readers? Yeah, they're the super readers. It's a chart of all World War II vehicle names for the Commonwealth. Okay? So, like, he basically made this database of, like, if he came across a tank named, like, this one's called Aberdeen, okay? And it is The unit of service marking is 24. It's for the 1st Royal Tank Regiment in the 7th Armored Division, C Squadron. It was a light tank marked 6B. And then it told you even like who the commander was and everything and where it was. So like a 6B would be in, in North Africa somewhere. So you can list all the names here listed on what names they were. Now, it doesn't include everything, but it includes a lot. And the important thing is that there's a lot of repeat names, okay? For instance, you could see that Achilles is a really popular name for an A Squadron tank. Because if you're talking about, A Squadron tanks, they all had names that started with an A. And B Squadron start with a B, and so forth. There's exceptions, but as a general rule, that's on here. And it'll tell you what the mark of service, which will tell you whether it's the which one of the regiments, whether it's the senior or one of the other 2 regiments in the tank brigade, and which brigade it was part of, and any other information. Sometimes tank numbers. If it was in Normandy, New Guinea, Western Desert, and it has Commonwealth stuff. So there's Australian stuff in there, Canadian, and it's all alphabetical. So it's really handy if I'm like, well, I need a name of, for this. I'm going to need 4 tanks that are all A Squadron tanks, and the information may not be. I don't necessarily need the ones that are on there, so I just go through here and and see which ones they are. What the popularity is of it. So I think it's super super cool. Ajax, another really popular name. Al Capone. I don't know why you would name a British tank Al Capone, but apparently somebody in the 5th Canadian Armored Division wanted to put that and put it on an M2A4. So, love that sort of. Never has too much time on it. But this is useful stuff. I've always said that if I didn't have if I had nothing to do, I would go through and collect Panzer Division stuff. And I only do Panzer Division stuff because there's a lot of information out there. And, and start collecting photos off the internet and go, okay, this is a photo. What is this? This is 7th Panzer Division in Russia and whatever. And go, okay, it's got turret numbers that are white, numbers, and that's it. Okay, and that's the 1st battalion. And make a database to be able to find out what the plan is between there. I've touched on what I think it is, but it'd be interesting just to go back and look that kind of thing. When am I going to get back to the Renaissance figures? Oh, probably never. Am I painting Flames of War figures? No. This is 20 millimeter. The one true scale. As somebody said on the miniatures page. This is a great database. This is a freaking great database. Incredible. So I'm going to name, Angry. Here's a great one. Angry. Who's on Angry? 107th Royal Armored Corps, 5th Battalion, King's Own Royal Regiment of Lancashire, 34th Tank Brigade, A Squadron. It's an infantry Mark IV Churchill in the UK in 1943. And then certain commanders are on here, like for instance, possibly the tank of Lieutenant Bahadur Singh, 4th Troop Commander. Okay, well, what tank is that? It's an M4A4 Sherman, tank 288701 in Burma, February-March 1945. It is A Squadron's 2nd Troop. What's she named? Anglesey. Not exactly something that somebody named Singh would have. This is fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. So, am I playing a table game with these figures? Maybe. Right now, I'm going to build these for this scenario. I found the scenario. Once I got all the Panthers I need for it already. Doesn't mean I won't get more Panthers, but we need 3 of these, or 3. Thank you. I do my own stunts. I tell you, I put on glasses and I go in a fucking mole man mode where I can't see shit. I'm a clumsy fuck with glasses. I need 3 of these and 1 firefly for the unit. We got the decals that came in, but I want to make every one of these Shermans different. And the fireflies, anytime you see pictures of fireflies, they are encrusted with extra tracks and stuff around the side and the turrets. I mean, we're not going to go ape shit, but you know, they're definitely going to be more armored. And then all I have to do is get a church. There's a church in a scenario, 3 rubble buildings, which I plan on making myself or using what I have. I still have to paint them, but and then just terrain, and then it'll be good to go. And then it'll be intro scenario. It'll be 4 tanks, and the players play the Brits. So, okay. You love World War II? I have no desire to paint figures or dioramas for it. Well, yeah, I have no interest in doing dioramas. I've been down there. I don't want to build something that I know is not going to be used for anything. But I don't want to build something. I got to have it done by this weekend. I had a great time at the last show and played whatever. I played Get Sick with everybody else. There's apparently a influenza type A virus in Orlando, and about half the people, I can guess from the message board, got it. I don't think we got it from each other. I think it was in the hotel and surrounding area environs, and I did not know about it, and I forgot to pre-dose with emergency, so, you know. It's not like I was bedridden or anything. It's not like I didn't go to work every day. So, it's just annoying when you have to do that. So he says, hey, you always get sick from a con. You get a cold, okay? Not, you know, something like this. You know, a sniffle or something. We get quite a bit of this stuff. And we'll have to look at some pictures to make sure that we put the right amount. These are like track links that are almost like in a bracket. And they're usually found here on the front of the glacis plate. But that's the one thing. Oh, hey, what rules are you using? What do you know, I'm not doing this for, you know, the rules you might like. Because I am super anal. You know, this is the opposite of DBA. This is the polar opposite of DBA. So if you ever watch that movie T-34, Russian movie T-34, the plot sucks. Special effects are great. Watch it. Slow motion action scenes, that's how this game plays. Well, that seems slow. Well, that's what I want. You know? That's the narrative I want to see develop. I'm not going to put all this effort into a tank and then they're like, okay, odd or even, they're gone. Okay, gone. You know, it just doesn't have that kind of detail. And it's got to look great. It's got to look as good as all those pictures you see in War Games, Soldiers, and Strategy. Just like painting. Nothing gets me more wound up than seeing somebody's stuff that I like better than my own. Like, all right, fine, I'll dial it up to 15. Same thing with the board. You have a battlefield that looks using felt. I'm not interested. I want to play on one of those battlefields that they have on one of those magazines. Well, you got to make one. My garage is certainly big enough for it. Easily put an 8 foot by 8 foot table out there. But it's a totally different mindset. It's not like, whoa, we got to be done in an hour. Nope, you don't know when it's going to take. See if I'm in a right enough mind to do this now. I've been groggy all week. Mental fog. Yep. Doesn't smell now. Oh man, mixing that Neatatite. I'm not a fan of that. I don't know if I'll buy it again. On this by smell only. What goes in here? More tracks? Good. Yep. You know, just like I know lots of people when I was playing DVA, oh, I can't stand playing DVA. That's like playing chess. Okay, well, you're not going to convince that person. Move on. And not everybody's going to like whatever rule of choice you have. You know? Some people won't like it because it moves too slow. Others because it doesn't have enough detail. Others because there's too many variables that they can't control. My biggest sin in a rule set is one where you don't get to roll dice. Well, it could be any game. Yeah, it's to game with them. Why wouldn't I do them? But, you know, I mean, I got a whole... I got a fuck ton of tanks. And you're never going to see more than like 4 of them on a side ever. So why do you have 150 tanks? I like building them. You know? Why do people build a bunch of airplane models? They don't do nothing with them. They enjoy building them. You know? And one guy picked up like 35 T-34s from. Why? Because they were cheap. And then I have to, like, which one version do you want to paint? If I could paint every camouflage scheme that you encounter that you like. This one is, let's see if this is salvageable. Different people collect different things. This is my therapy. Every one of these represents 3 people I didn't kill. Seriously, this is you know, excruciatingly great therapy. Yeah, it is, and I probably have about another 100 to do. Man, I'm probably gonna keep getting them. You know, I can put a lot more before we run out of space. Yep. So I got all this done, or I would have had two more DVA armies. Like, no brainer there. And I can stop this. I'm like, I'm tired of working on these King Tigers. Let me go work on these Shermans. As long as you're building something, it doesn't really matter. You know? I got these half tracks that are up here. They're ready to go. I haven't felt like doing them. So you know what? I don't do them. You're a fucking toy. You don't get to tell me when you get built. Just sit there and look pretty. Some days, man, I got to do this, and I got to get these forms done, and I got to get this army done, and no, I can't watch TV. I can't go out to eat because I got to finish this because I waited till last minute and I procrastinated, and I got to do all these. I got to do the awards, and then and then the same 4 people that always show up at the tournament show up. I'm like, I'm fucking killing myself for people that aren't going to show up. Like, fuck them. They'll show up when they want to, or not. Here, I'm not even going to run this at a convention. I'll never run another game at a convention. It's too rushed. I got to pick up, and you got to move again in 3 hours, and let's go to dinner, but we got to hurry back. No. That's good for retired people that don't have anything to fucking do, no reason to live. The rest of us that are overworked, we don't need any more responsibilities for our hobby. Yeah, go there. I spent 2 days or 3 days, depending on how you want to look at it, just talking to folks, doing whatever the hell I damn well pleased. Played, I think, in 2 games. 2 games and a pickup game. I actually enjoyed the pickup game more than the other 2 games. And all was good. The world needs more DBA. Well, have fun with it. I'll still keep the videos on my channel, but I won't be making any more. You can take it up with the new guy, whoever he is. You wouldn't know, it isn't posting the information on it. We're going to have to reduce the thickness of this a little bit. Shouldn't be too difficult. This cut's a little different than the Army Painter stuff. I like the Army Painter green stuff better. It's more elastic. It's more rubber-like. You need a World War II version of Respect This Alloy. Mind the Faust. The Panzerfaust is a great equalizer. You need the World War II version of Bamboo Freight Train. Choo choo, motherfucker! Yeah, and the Panzerfaust in this, shit, it can probably go like this far away. I mean, it's fucking, it's just deadly. It's just deadly. Tanks don't need to be anywhere near where, if they don't have they should not go anywhere without infantry helpers. And the infantry helpers definitely need to be go on ahead so that the tanks don't stumble into something. It doesn't take much for these tanks to stumble into infantry, and they have to fight them at a distance where the main armament's useless on the tank because it's too close. They can't depress enough to even hit the infantry with it. But you really shouldn't be at those ranges anyways. San Angelo. If Texas, I just want to know one thing. If Texas is such badasses, why is it the only battle that the Mexicans won in that war was against the Alamo? Against the Texas. I'm just causing trouble. I got no problem with Texas. The only problem I have with Texas is, no, I don't want to wear cowboy boots. Okay? That's it. But Texas has the best flag. Of all the states, Texas has the best flag. Why do I say that? Because it's a mini U.S. flag. One red stripe, one white stripe, one blue field, one star. It's like one of everything. Runner-up goes to Tennessee, who has the bowling ball of freedom, as I like to call it. I've been to Texas. Texas is an interesting place. Texas is kind of the opposite of where I used to live in Florida. I moved 15 minutes north, so I still kind of live there. But, it's like these damn hippies won't build anything for any place for people to work. They're a little bit better now. They're like, oh, well, we need like taxes and stuff. Like, oh, they finally realized that it only took them 100 fucking years to figure that out. But they won't build anything in town because, oh, the trees. And in Texas is like, fuck trees. We're gonna put all kinds of, crane, big, it's like a crane competition. Oh, you put a big crane? Fuck you. I'll build an even bigger crane next to you. It was insane. Bowling ball freedom. Yeah, bowling ball freedom. That's freaking. It's a great flag, and the Texas flag is the best flag. It is. Whoever designed it is. And if you ever see like the Texas, I know you guys in Texas know what I'm talking about. You guys have a pretty decent. Well, I like our long penis shaped state silhouette. Okay, I'm a big fan of it. But if you take your silhouette of your state and you put the flag inside of it, you know what I'm talking about. It looks great. I got no problem with Texas. Other than I wouldn't want to live somewhere even hotter than here. Man, it's got. You guys probably have a shitload of restaurants with Mexican food. Austin is a little crazy. Sure. It's the part of Texas that isn't Texas. I get it. So I knew I was going to start a little bit of, not a controversy, but people that weren't going to agree with me. And I'll give you a little bit of background information on something that happened to me this weekend. I went to the show and I was driving and I wanted to leave earlier than normal because I don't want to deal with even though it's not a very long drive, when you get on I-75, it's just full of freaking vehicles, construction vehicles on a work day that are just littering all kinds of shit, right? And I don't want to run over it with my car. So I'm like, I'm leaving earlier so I don't have to deal with all that drama and freaking gravel and all that kind of crap. All right, so I leave pretty early and I'm like, well, I don't really want to listen to music. I don't really want to listen to any of the Audible titles that I have because the one I'm listening right now is about the Desert War, and it's really really good. But it's really really like intense. Like I'm like thinking in my head, all right, that scenario would be like this, and the ground. You know, I'm thinking about stuff about what I'm actually reading. So I'm like, I had seen, I got a notification by one of the things I'm subscribed to, which is this guy called Dan Carlin, which many of you know who Dan Carlin is. I'm a fan of many of his programs. Some of his episodes aren't as good as other, but it's Dan Carlin, Hardcore History, and and I knew that he had a new episode, and I hadn't watched one of his episodes in a long time, so I decided to listen to it. And I'm driving, and I'm like, "Ah, shit, this isn't a real episode. He's doing an interview with an author." And I'm like, nah. And then somehow I got captivated. What do I think of the Maryland flag, Tony? I think somebody was on LSD. Tennessee flag looks too commie? What? Get the fuck out of here. There's a lot of state flags that... All right, before I get into my Dan Carlin thing, which I think is really interesting, what I've got to say. I mentioned a little bit earlier the next day. Let's go through the flags of the United States states, okay? And let's see what see. We don't, unlike England, we don't pick. We don't have the Welsh and the Scots and the Irish to pick on. We pick on each other from different states, right? So U.S. state flags. Now I'm going to preface this saying this is my own opinion, and you may or may not agree with it. And I'm also going to preface it by saying most state flags in the United States are ugly as shit. They are. I mean, it's like they're a bad fucking idea. Almost all of them. There's few exceptions that are. Is this one big enough? One that comes on the frickin' map? Let's see. Is this one big enough to... Let's do an images. No, I want it listed in freaking alphabetical order or something like that. Images. Okay, then let's not go to images. Oh, here's alphabetical order. U.S. state flags, but yeah. Okay, here we go. Wikipedia should be... Okay, we're going to go through them. Flag of Alabama. Okay, so if it had the little... It'd be one of my favorite flags if it had the little jagged things like my ancestors' cross of Burgundy. Because that's basically what it is. But it's just like... Man, you guys were just like lazy that day. What else do we have here? Alaska. Okay. Flag of Arizona makes you want to sing around and sing Kumbaya, I guess. Arkansas. I wonder what state that is. I think they put it on there so people from Arkansas knew how to spell their state. Arkansas, for those of you guys that don't live in the U.S., Arkansas is one of those states everybody makes fun of. Anyhow. And if you think people make Florida too, that's fine. Don't fucking come here. We already have too many people. California Republic. Nice flag, but I wouldn't want to live there. Colorado. Looks like a team from Chicago, right? Isn't the Cubs that have a symbol like that? I'm surprised there's no green in that flag with all the marijuana that's up there now. Flag of Connecticut. Okay, that sucks. All right, I don't give a shit. If you're going to have a crest, have a good crest. What the hell's on there? Frickin' grapes or some shit? Flag of Delaware, another shitty crest. Do people in Texas still spend all day with chaps around their legs while wearing high heel boots? You're a chaps if you're riding for hours or breaking a horse. High heeled? Think you mean Western boots? Those are two stepping. I wear ropers. That done be Arkansas. Colorado looks like a gas company. If there was gas in Colorado, it'd probably be illegal for them to pull it out. And we don't say whilst out here. Spot on, sir. Yeah. Flag of Delaware. Yeah. Shitty ass crest. It was like two white people like, oh, we got a cow here. Oh, you want to trade for the... What kind of bullshit's going on there? If it even has the date on there, that's just dumb as shit. Okay. Oh, here's the flag of our lovely state. Of course, our crest is so small and everything's convoluted in there. How long before they have to take the Indian woman off there because it's offensive? And then we can make all the racists happy by not having any people of color on our flag. Flag of Georgia. Well, it got changed because, but I don't know what's going on here. Not a fan. Stupid. Sorry. What? They're planning on giving it Hawaii back to England? Did England ever have Hawaii? And yes, that's how I call it. I don't call it Hawaii or whatever they want to change it to. I'm old school. I'm gonna keep calling it Mount McKinley, and and Hawaii. Next time the natives defend Pearl Harbor, they can call it however the hell they want. I like this. Great Seal of the State of Idaho. And then, in case you forgot, and so if you have really short-term memory, it even says, oh, by the way, this is for the state of Ohio also, of Idaho. Like they put it twice on the flag. Well, the Illinois one, I don't know that I've ever seen that one. The Hawaiian flag is pretty good in my opinion. I don't think it's appropriate, but I will tell you, I'm a fan of the Union Jack. I think the Union Jack is a badass looking flag. I'm just saying, I have no problem with the Union Jack. I think it looks killer. But if Scotland leaves, your flag's going to look like shit. I'm just saying, you better keep Scotland in line. Because if they pull that blue out of there, you're going to have a dumbass looking flag. The other thing that looks really good, speaking of which, the flag that England has, is it for their soccer team? That is like blue and has the lines? That looks fucking good. That looks really good. I forget what color it is, but I like aggressive things on a crest. Birds of prey, lions, shit like that. Not, guys bent over blowing a horn out of their ass. Flag of Indiana. I guess they wanted the Statue of Liberty there so badly. Did I know that there's a correct way to orient the Union Jack? I didn't know that. Is that a joke or are you serious? I have a Union Jack flag. Why do I have one? Well, because my old game room when I lived by myself was decorated with all 3x5 flag. Well, now I just have one flying from the flagpole out there. But I could have a field day because I've got a Rising Sun flag, a Union Jack, a French one. I got all my World War II flags in there. A 48 Star American one. rising sun, a Soviet Union flag. Yes, I have a crooked spider flag in there. Um, the Italian one with the crest, from World War II. Um, what else did I miss? France, Japan. Oh, the white imperial eagle one, the World War One German one, which I think is a badass looking flag. That's a bad. I know the white power people in Germany use it for that. Whatever. What? Screw white power people. It's got a freaking eagle on it. That's gotta be a good flag. Even though this one with an eagle looks lame. Iowa. Our liberties we prize and our rights we will maintain. Okay. Kansas. What a bunch of fucking hippies. Look at this. Let's put a sunflower. Now, I love sunflowers. One accidentally grew here, and it was wonderful until some damn varmint, some animal was eating, was like, it fell down, like, oh my God, it was a sunflower, But I don't want it on my, it doesn't necessarily speak, bad attitude, you know, sunflower, and there's hills. There ain't no damn hills in Kansas. Look at that. There's hills there. Kansas is flatter than Florida. Commonwealth of Kentucky. United we stand, divided we fall. And there's a brother and sister holding hands. Oh. Another one of those states that everybody makes fun of. And it's funny because Kentucky will say, oh, we're part of the South. Did you fail geography massively? Kentucky is north of England or some shit like that. I mean, it's north of France for sure. World War One German flag is cool. It is. There's no doubt about it. And if you can't afford an eagle, get yourself a fucking pelican like Louisiana. Union, justice, confidence. I didn't know that pelicans meant justice. Yes, top left corner should have wide stripe on top. If it's narrow, it's upside down. Okay. Need to look like why the Alaska flag? It's the Big Dipper, isn't it? Isn't it Ursa Major or something like that? Flag of Maine. More people. There's got more people on a flag pictured that got kicked out of Europe because they weren't fun at parties. I mean, if you're going to have a dude on a flag, at least give him a conquistador helmet or something like that. You're like stabbing somebody or some shit like that. The flag of Maryland. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, if you like firearms, don't go to Maryland. Flag of Massachusetts. Would have never guessed. If I saw that on a building, I wouldn't know what it was. White flag with who knows what. Looks like a Native American with a bow. That's just... Oh, the flag of Michigan. Here's another one. Never seen that. Sequorum Peninsulum and Circumspice. No, I don't want any of that on my ham sandwich. Minnesota. That sucks. That right now that's Minnesota is the shittiest flag I've seen so far. Oh. What? I mean, I can't even tell what's going on there. Flag of Mississippi. I think it was the last one to lose the, in 2021. It lost the Confederate flag on there. And honestly, I think the Confederate flag actually looks pretty good. Now, I know that you don't want to use that, it's got bad connotations. But this just, I, that just doesn't do anything for me. Flag of Missouri. Two bears and a head with a wreath on it or something like that. Ah, more people that don't know how to spell. Montana. What state is that? Montana. Oro y plata. Gold and silver. Yet I would think that very few people in Montana speak Spanish. Flag of Nebraska. Boy, they were just like, okay, you can make a busy flag, but you can only use three colors. Okay. Flag of Nevada. Never seen that. And I wouldn't know what it was if it didn't actually say Nevada in there as well. Wow. Flag of New Hampshire. Pretty boring, but at least it has a ship that doesn't offend too many people. Flag of New Jersey. Just what background color is that? That is just ugly as shit. Now, the New Mexico flag, I think, is actually kind of cool. I don't love it, but at least there's a design element going on there. Um, I wish it actually, the one Southwest type symbol I really like is the 45th Infantry Division had a Thunderbird type symbol, and that's a and same colors, and that's a really cool symbol. I think the flag of New York. Wow, there's actually somebody holding a sword. I didn't know they were allowed to have swords in New York. New Hampshire is where you might move. That is one of those places you don't have to pay taxes, right? I think it has the most white people. It's like nothing but pasty white people in New Hampshire. You know, almost as bad as writing the name of your state on the flag, putting its initials, NC, North Carolina. But I think that this also was another state that was a late bloomer to having the Confederate flag, the mini Confederate flag in the corner removed. North Dakota, it's actually not too bad. If it didn't say North Dakota on it, it's just something dumb about having that on there. Of course, our crest says the seal of the state of Florida. Well, obviously, we have the seal of Florida on the Florida flag. It'd be stupid to have a different state's flag on it. But and then somebody just didn't want to play by the rules. Somebody said, "Hey, these are the rules. You got to make a flag, and they got to has to kind of how to be rectangular." And these folks up in Ohio say, "Yeah, fuck you. We'll make whatever shape you want it to." Ohio is the Bhutan of, or the Nepal of the United States. Like, we'll make the shape of the flag whatever the fuck we want it to be. Okay. Looks like something that would be waved by little 10-year-olds at some parade that Teddy Roosevelt would be in. You know, where everybody has them little hats on, the little turn of the century hats. What are those called? Oklahoma, another one. Got to tell what state it is. And oh, it's got some feathers on there. I hope it doesn't offend the people that wear feathers. Oh, not only do you have to say what state this is, but you have to remind people that It's a state named Oregon. Oh, and this one only gets one color. Okay, you get one background color and one font color. Jeez, man. Oh, this is weird. It's not the same on both sides. The reverse has a beaver. I'm not going to make a comment on beavers. I'll leave it at that. Flag of Pennsylvania has a couple of horses that look like they belong on a merry-go-round. A lot of dark blue backgrounds. Flag of Rhode Island. Never seen that before. White flag with hope. Yep. This is probably one of the ones that I've seen the most, and only because there's a store that uses that. The Palmetto Moon store. The South Kakalaki flag. Which I'm actually surprised that they actually used that during the time of the Civil War. That's how old it is. And it looks like a pretty modern thing. It looks like they would have come out with that in the 1980s or something like that. South Dakota, the Mount Rushmore state. And again, mentioned South Dakota in the center as well. Not a very attractive flag. You could tell I don't like most of these. Well, it's not my fault. You guys designed shitty flags. Okay, this is not a communist flag. This is a freaking brilliant. The only complaint you can have with this is that there's a blue bar over here and it's only on one side. Okay? All right, so you have that crazy symmetry, lack of symmetry. But other than that, those little stars in the center, that's cute as shit. Show us your beaver. Yeah, that's right. South Carolina Muslim Afrikaans Corps. There it is. Flag of Texas. Best one. I mean, it's not even close that that's not the best looking flag. Not even close. Flag of Utah. Okay, this is new. Okay, I don't know what their flag used to look like before, and I don't know what it is between beehives. What is this beehive thing that they got going on, or is that maybe the Temple of the Mormons? What's the thing called? But that actually looks kind of cool. It just doesn't really remind me of Utah. I mean, whoever designed it got the balance. It looks well assembled. March 9th, 2024. They just... What did it used to look like before? The beehive flag. Yeah, well, I called it that. I mean, I could tell it's a friggin' beehive. Looks pretty good. It just doesn't speak Utah to me. Flag of Vermont. Got too much going on there. And, like, again, dark blue background. Those Yankees love their dark blue backgrounds, don't they? Speaking of Yankees, there's Virginia. Sex Semper Tyrannis. Oh, they're stepping on a tyrant. Well, they're right next to D.C. It should be easy for them to do that. Now, if they only did it. And then the flag of Washington, like, really, they ran out of ideas. There's so many better ways. If you wanted to put the first president on there, there's better images of doing that. I would have done something more stylized. Lame. Looks like Ben Franklin's lover. It's not a compliment. Flag of West Virginia. Easily the most picked on state in the entire Union. Wisconsin, there we go. Lame. Lame-o. Wyoming was cool if they wouldn't have put that crest on the buffalo. Distracting. I don't know why they did that. Bad idea. And the District of Columbia flag's not bad. Although I wouldn't want to live there. Okay, I see somebody's awake. They've been asleep since I got home. I got to go talk to them, and then I'll be back, and then we'll talk about Dan Carlin. Be right back in a few. While it's not a state flag, the flag for Puerto Rico is quite nice. Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, I don't know why the Hawaiian one has the Union Jack on it. I don't have a problem with Union Jack. Union Jack, pretty badass. It doesn't offend me. Okay, so I was saying, so I'm going on this going on my trip to the convention, and I'm listening to this episode of Dan Carlin, and he's interviewing this author, this lady author who happens to be a lady, and I think she identifies as a lady too. I know that's kind of unusual to be both of them, but you know, strange times we live in. We say, hey, we live in interesting times. No, no, we live in strange times. We don't live in interesting times. So this lady claims to be an investigative reporter. I don't remember what her name is. And she wrote this book that is based on. It's called Nuclear War, a Scenario. And she goes and she supposedly interviews a lot of people that are past in the nuclear war thing, in the Cold Nuclear War, either the war plan or people that were to prevent it or stuff like that were in government. I don't think anybody that's currently in those roles, but people that used to be in those roles. And with that kind of information, goes about and creates this fiction story, almost like step by step, analytical, slow motion, how nuclear war happens and what the effects are of everything, and play by play. I mean, it literally starts with like the book starts with like the bomb going off, and it's extremely graphic. I mean, there's nothing to see, but you can just imagine it, and it's very clinical the way she described. I was fascinated by it, and also horrified. So much so, and it's just growing up in the time period that I grew up in, nuclear war was always kind of on the horizon, but you never really thought that. I don't know. You thought about it, but you didn't think about it, and it's not something that I think about at all. And one of the things that Dan Carlin did by doing this interview is he said that it's something that people should be thinking about more often than they do, and they just don't, and they're concerned about there's not enough safeguards and all this kind of stuff. Anyways, you should watch the episode. It was really fascinating. And I was like, after that, I'm like, man, I want to know more about this. I want to, because they gave me like excerpts of the book and stuff like that. I'm like, all right, well, let me find it. It was available on Audible, so I started listening to that. And it was like super intense. I mean, I had like I had it was really really disturbing, the effects and stuff like that. and I haven't gotten that far through the book. But anyhow, so the next thing I thought of is like, the other day I was late at work, and I'm like, well, I need something to listen to, and I'm gonna go something to watch. And I had heard good things about this show called Fallout. Right, it's based on a video game about a post-nuclear war thing, and I tried playing the game. So it just, some games just don't jive with me. Okay. And I'm just not a fan of Bethesda games. I don't know what it is about it. I think in that particular game, I actually liked the video game and the concept of it. You come back, you get in this canister or whatever, and you come back, and there's this other world that has creatures that have morphed into other things. And I just felt like it was the same 3 or 4 colors over and over again. I don't know. It just didn't seem right to me. But I wasn't a fan of the video game series, but I decided to watch this. And the first 10 minutes of it, I know most of you probably already seen it, the first 10 minutes of it made me sick to my stomach. And the reason it made me sick to my stomach was that they were depicting this. I don't know, it was almost like they were trying to, after listening to the interview and listening to part of this book, I found it really offensive to make light of the possibility of nuclear war. It really, really, really disturbed me. And I just don't like that, I mentioned before, I don't like horror movies because it's, hey, let's put a pretty girl in there that gets murdered for no reason just because she's pretty, not killed, not, in a drive-by and gets killed. No, like mangled and like, in a horrible way just because she's attractive because the director was some nerd burglar who couldn't get laid when he was 19 years old. So it's just stuff like that just disturbs me. And the beginning of this Fallout show really disturbed me because it was like, everybody's like, everything's all hunky dory, and then it comes to an end. And it doesn't really show anything, but still it shows enough that it bothered me. And I guess different things affect different people different ways. I'd never really thought about it until I guess recently, but yeah, I don't like that theme. I don't. There's some things that just you're okay with, and then there's some things you're just not okay with. Like I grew up watching with my dad Hogan's Heroes, and yeah, it's silly to have some comedy show that takes place in a prison camp. Some people might be like, oh, that really, doesn't that really kind of shows like, oh, it's not a happy place at all, but it kind of is in that show, but and that never really bothered me. Whereas watching Kelly's Heroes that puts like a hippie spin on World War II, I find offensive, so not offensive, but I dislike it, I'm not offended because I just fucking turn it off and don't watch it again, But yeah, I didn't like the whole making fun of the nuclear war thing. It's not cool. I've said it before. It's the worst invention ever made. We would be better off fighting a conventional war into China than getting into a nuclear war of any size. Because you can't win a nuclear war. Everybody's a fucking loser. Anyhow, it really disturbed me. Not like I can't sleep at night, but just like that's not cool, But it's something I've never really thought about before. Man, these tracks are way too thick. We need to cut these things down a little bit. But the stuff seems to be pretty robust, so I should be able to handle that. Just got to make sure I get some light on here so we don't have perform surgery on myself on the camera. I'll get banned from my own video and injured. So yeah, I don't appreciate that being made light of. Just like what was that? What was that movie that was around back in the '80s or whatever? And I think my mom said you should watch this. This is a really good movie, and it was a Holocaust movie called Life is Beautiful, and it starts off as a comedy, and I'm like, I know it's going to be I know it's going to be a Holocaust movie, and I never got to the Holocaust part because I'm like, this movie isn't. I mean, Holocaust is a serious fucking subject matter, and there should be no humor in it at all. And I didn't like the take they did on that, so I never watched the rest of it. You know, some things just don't just don't jive with you. You don't like the irresponsible lack of responsibility in the filmmaker. I guess that's what it was. You know, the thing about making fun about nuclear war is whether it was intentional or not. A lot of people did a decent job because not one didn't break out or hasn't broken out yet of keeping us from getting into a nuclear war. Many people around the world have done a great job of that not happening yet. I hope to continue doing that. And to just be irresponsible and saying, fuck all y'all, I'm gonna show how it happens, just seems irresponsible. I don't know. I don't like the end. I don't like these end of humanity type things. It bothers me. It bothers me a lot. You know. So. And I no, I didn't watch. What was that movie that supposedly that made for TV series in the '80s that freaked everybody out? I didn't. I never watched it back then. What the day after or whatever? Is that what it was called? Something like that. I never watched it when it was on. I think I've caught clips of it, and the CGI or lack thereof is abysmal. But yeah, but some things just aren't going to appeal to some folks, and one of the worst inventions ever. Would have been better off landing in Japan and invading it by well, without nuclear bombs, you don't drop them on Japan. You just starve the place out. Just lay a blockade. I mean, if the North blockaded the South in the Civil War, I mean, the U.S. Navy in World War II, which was exhaustingly larger than everybody else by that point, could have just, starved, just like nobody leaves a friggin' island. You do whatever the hell you want there, but, you guys are going to starve or you'll be eating, whatever cats you have there or, just have fun staying on your island, you know? Anyhow, that's all I'm going to say. I was kind of, I wasn't expecting to listen to that, and I wasn't expecting it to have that kind of effect on me. So, you know, hey, different things affect different people differently. Somebody say, "Oh, you're overreacting. You shouldn't be so worried about it." Well, I'm not worried about it, but I just don't like people making fun of it. You know, like, there's probably lots of people that enjoy watching the Fallout show, but yet they were hiding under the bed with the whole COVID thing. I wasn't hiding under the bed under the COVID thing. I'm not worried about the COVID thing. Okay, COVID is not a nuclear fucking war where your skin fucking falls off or worse. or it's on fire. Man, I am super freaking thirsty. I need to, let me fill this with water. I'll be right back. And one other thing I was going to say. Oh, yesterday. Yesterday, I had warned about this. Not really a warning, but I had said that when my daughter came back from college, we'd start watching Band of Brothers again. I've only seen it once all the way through. I owned it, and when we tried watching it again, I didn't have subtitles on the DVD set. So I have the DVD set, and it's useless to me because I watch everything with subtitles. But it's on Netflix now. So we watched one episode last night, episode 1. And the thing that there's a couple things that struck me about Band of Brothers that I hadn't realized before. One of them I already knew, that it's the best. That's the best war thing out there. It really is. It's. The episode was like an hour and 15 minutes. None of us were bored. It's got the right balance of between you figure out who the characters are, what they look like. It's not like they're hidden under a helmet and you can't make out who's who. It does a good job of that. It does a good job of keeping you entertained, not spending too much time in one scene. But the thing that really surprised me was there was a lot of scenes that involved like C-47s or something like that. And a lot of the footage seemed like it was colorized. A lot of maybe it was just a refresh rate on my TV. It is from 2001, which I know it seems like it's a long time ago, but it isn't for me. I mean, 2001 was the other day. Didn't it come out like at the same time 9/11 did or something like that? Somebody was saying that. And, but, yeah, some of the footage, just some of the colors almost looked like it was colorized. It was weird. Like there's a scene where they were training and they had to go over those, those walls, like the fake walls where you have to clamber over and then come back to the other side. And they were wearing their fatigues, and the fatigues were like a color green that looked colorized. It was just kind of strange. But anyways, one episode down, 9 to go. So I look forward to seeing those, and she really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed watching it again. So we'll be working our way through that. I already told her, so we'll work our way through this. We'll watch the Pacific again. Well, she's never seen it, but which isn't as good, but it's worth watching. And see what we can knock out during the summer. So, but we're only going to watch one episode of a day. I mean, if we watch an episode, it's only one. Like, she's off doing something tonight. I don't know, visiting a friend or something, so. But if it doesn't have subtitles, I can't watch it. I'm not, especially it's relatively complicated, so. Multifaceted, not necessarily complicated. All right, so if I got this piece of track here, how is this going to bend around this turret? I want to thin it down a little bit. And we're going to epoxy this stuff on. We're not fooling around. Just like dry brushing, you can't think that you're going to be able to just take one whack at it and it's done. It's just constantly adjusting a little here and a little there. But I guess I just really don't like science fiction, you know. Although I did like most episodes of Black Mirror. And Black Mirror, I guess, is science fiction. It's light science fiction. This works so much better than trying to sand this. Because, first of all, it's rubbery, so it doesn't sand well. And second of all, there's nowhere to grab this from if you're trying to sand it. Okay. I think that's an awful sound. It's like a chalk on a chalkboard. That chirp. Okay, this one is. God, I feel like I could. Maybe a little bit. What's the worst thing that can happen? I fuck it up and I got to make another one. Everybody got real silent when I stopped talking about the states. Sorry, I didn't mean to be somber, but it was just like I just figured I'd mention that. You know, I think the interview's worth interesting. See if it's something that interests you. You know. Yeah, I think that one's good. I think that one's good. There. Is it? Yeah, that one's good. All right, this other one. Now, some of these are fatter than the other ones, so we're going to have to take some more stuff off. These wheels, of all the things that I cast, the thing I'm the least interested in using is the wheels. There's not that many of these on vehicles that are used as additional armor. It's mainly this track. Not even the one that's like inside like the little brackets. You don't see that many pieces of that. It's only on the Glacis. And there's only like, I think, 3 or 4. I haven't seen a vehicle with more than like 3 or 4 on there. But this other stuff, man, you just fireflies just covered in them. So that's the first thing I'm going to do is I would like to have this stuff on the Firefly, on the Matchbox Firefly, so we can paint her tomorrow. So we can finish her tomorrow. Everybody likes Firefly. But you know, different things affect different people. Some people wouldn't be able to watch a movie where they see a dog get hurt. Doesn't bother me. I don't want to see a movie about somebody that tortures dogs, but you know, if a dog gets hurt, it's like, what's better than a person? I'm sorry, it's just relative. Well, it depends on the person. Some people I'd rather see hurt than a dog. So, or what movie is that? The first Olympus Has Fallen, where it has the North Koreans. Yeah, that's believable. The land army comes and lands on DC, and they got these gunships or whatever. I think it was the North Koreans. You have these gunships that are just mowing down people on the street, and including like babies. There was like somebody who was pushing a baby carriage. Like they actually showed a baby carriage blow up. Like, oh my goodness, somebody grew some balls. Okay, this one we got a miscast issue on this last one. So we're going to go ahead and remove that one. I'm going to remove that link. Sorry about that. And we'll cut the rest of these off. And it has this one look. And it's like, also kind of, we're going to leave it be. Let's just thin it and see what we're dealing with when we're done. And I want to test these Alaran decals and see how they work. See if they're as good as the Skytrex ones. Because the Skytrex ones are stellar. Really happy with those. Man, you guys really are like dormant, both of you guys. But I guess you either fell asleep or find it interesting. One of the people that I first started watching these YouTube type videos, of course they weren't live feeds, but still, has a very calming voice. But my wife heard me listen to him one time, and it's like, oh my god, that guy sounds so boring. I said, he's not, and he's extremely calming. So, that rain? It says no precipitation for at least 60 minutes. But then it says rain expected to end in the next few hours. Like, you can't have it both ways. Okay? That's called lying. Let's see what the radar looks like. Oh, it's just a one swath. One little wave. Okay. Yeah, we could certainly use some rain. That's for damn sure. It's been dusty as crap. Not exactly helpful when you're coughing. Which, I haven't been coughing that much, but should be better tomorrow. Definitely on the men's side. Hey, you guys hear that? You should. This microphone's great. Ha! Joke's on you, Mother Nature. I didn't wash my car today. That was yesterday. It could rain all weekend for all I care. Keep the temperature down. I got in the car today to leave work. It said it was over 100 degrees. Don't ask me what it is in Celsius. I ain't got a clue. 40? Told you not to ask me. I know Celsius distance. That's it. Celsius distance. Metric distance, damn it. I actually prefer metric distance. What? Yeah, because I don't like yards. Yards are stupid. It's like a cheap-ass meter. Again, this one's got one link. I think it looks boo-booed. Maybe not. Maybe it's usable. Bring on the rain. Getting to the end here. This is the last one. And then we'll look at some pictures because I want to get a good idea where these ones that fit on the channel go. And I don't really trust the box art sometimes, the box instructions. Look at real. When in doubt, look at real pictures of real vehicles. Just a smaller section here. Now, let's go ahead and remove this. This is Panther track. We're not worried about that right now. Nine, still early. That's what happens when you start early. You can stay on a little longer. Now only one person, only one silent person. Need to empty this wastebasket. It always seems you only put a couple things in there and it's like full. When you slice this, you want to make sure that you don't make it too narrow, the other part, because it's basically over 40. If you overshoot it, you just got to cast another one. All right, so while I'm doing that, I'm going to set these things off to the side and let's look at some pictures of some M4A4s with the armor on there. M4A4 British. That's not how you spell British. Images. Okay, so this is one from Guards Armored. And it's got one of the bracket pieces up here. Another one next to it. And then it's got that spare wheel up here. Okay, so I'm going to actually go ahead and take a screenshot of that. Okay, that seems a pretty reasonable thing to do. Here's one in a museum. Well, this is a Firefly. Yeah, it actually shows the brackets there for the extra pieces of track. It looks like it's right there, one next to each other. Kind of protect the front of the glacis. Here's a reenactor. Firefly. This is just got a spare wheel and it's got a bunch of junk on there, but yeah, that's 11th. It's got the 11th Armored Division marking on there. The yellow square with a black bull in it. I actually like that one a lot. Well, that's a blurry ass photograph. Yeah, see, look at all the extra tracks this Firefly has on it. It's just all kinds of extra stuff. So it'd be interesting to see if I've got enough stuff here to comfortably divvy up what these four are going to look like. Let's go ahead and pull this little piece of stickum underneath here that was helping to support that track, that hatch. Let's go ahead and pull this off as well. So I'm going to go ahead and use this Commander version, the one that has the that photo I saved. So we got the two extra spare there, and then the extra spare road wheel. So let's make sure we use a road wheel. It doesn't look like ass. And we're going to have it up like that. And a couple of these pieces of the spare link. I'm going to remove this turret for the time being. Let's try cutting a little bit off the front and the bottom. See if it fits in here. Yep. Now do the same one. That one's kind of a flat one. We can glue them on later. I just want to make sure if I got enough stuff here to do that. Firefly. What we want to do on the Firefly, we need all this, just a shitload of this extra track. Oh man. M4A4. Yeah, this one's got a ton of extra track there on the front of it. Let it rain, let it rain. It looks like those channels are only on the front of the vehicle. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and cut this feed off since we've got basically nobody watching. But anyways, how long have we been on here? A couple hours? Yeah, it's hard on a Friday night. First thing I want to do is fall asleep. So anyhow, thanks for stopping by.